Well, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Just got a few updates tonight. What's going on here? First of all, I'm going to show you this 1/1000 scale uh, Polar Lights 1/1000 scale Reliant. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to show you what's been going on. I've got it just about put together. Got all the nacelles. Got the nacelles put together. Got it put down. Got it sanded. I've got the these back here, the back of the nacelles, top and bottom puttied, and I'll turn it on. I'll plug it up here. Let me get my power supply plugged in. Let's see if I can't scoot it back a little more. Get you in shot. Let me adjust the camera here to show you. Sorry about the bump here. Alright, there we go. Zoom in a little more. You can see there now she's all lit up. Real nice and bright. Got the strobes working. Got the navigational lights working, and got the RCS thrusters lit up. Like I said, I've got her all puttied up and ready for the base coat. You got the light there for the insignia. Let me see if I can't turn this without knocking the power out. If you can see on the inside there, I'm sorry the camera's going to wash out the light here, but you can see right here. This is where it's going to be. I've got it. The client wants this model put in warp mode, so I've got it where this is on constant on. This board from Tenda Controls does not have the options to like the 350 scale does not have the option to change it from warp mode over to impulse back to warp and all that. So it's going to be on the warp side. All I've got to do now is just go through there and sand down the top and the bottom side of the nacelles. I've got some puttying, sanding to do on the back side here, and she'll be ready for the base coat. So here in the next couple of days I'll be doing that, and then we'll be ready to start laying down our Aztec masking. So it's moving along, and then once that happens, I'll put the base coat on, and then put the roll bar, the roll cage as they call it, on top there. So I'm gonna put this aside, and I got another project started. Been starting on. Let me back out of here a little bit. Been starting on the 1/500 scale Into Darkness Enterprise. Been working on it, getting it all light blocked, and got all the holes drilled. As you can see there, I got the board from Tenda Controls installed. I've gotten the strobes, or the navigational lights. On this one there's no red and green navigational lights. This one, if you remember, if you've seen the movie, this one has a different flash. It has two real quick ones, and in between, and then there's a slower strobe up here on the bridge that will blink at a slower pace. So let me hook this up and show you what this one does. As you can see there, it's got all the real nice and lit up. You can see through the windows. Let me turn this over where you can see the strobes. That's pretty cool. This one has a little more strobes than normal than the other ones. It's got, 2, 3, 4, 5 strobes on here. I've got it all light blocked and primed, ready for paint. You can see I've got the I lost my train of thought there. I've got the impulse deck. There we go. I couldn't get it out there. but I got the impulse deck lit up, and I've still got some strobes to do on the. I've got to mount all the strobes on the top side. Zoom back out again so you can see the top. I've got all the holes cut for the flashing lights up here, and then I've got the hole cut for the slower LED up here that will flash at a slower rate that you see on a lot of the other ships. That one, this LED here, this bridge strobe here, flashes at the slower rate that the other Enterprises do. It'll flash at a slower rate than you see here. So this one's moving along real nice. Getting ready to mount the body on. I got it all got it lit up. Let me put this out of the way here. I got the let's see if I can't put this together. Well, I haven't got all the wires ready to go yet, but I've got it ready to light. I've got a light here to light it up on the inside, and it all lights up real nice and pretty. I've got the strobe mounted back here, and it's going to flash at the same pace that the rest of them do on around the saucer. And I'm going to install one right here on the belly that's going to flash at the same pace as the one up here above the shuttle bay. Once this goes together, this model is kind of tricky, because this one's very sensitive about getting all the pinholes around here that are very small, that you got to be careful to make sure you catch every one of them, or it's not going to go together. It's not going to look right. So let me see if I can wire these together real quick to show you what it's going to look like on the inside. I'll wire a couple of them together here and let me see how let me zoom in so you can see the light's too bright in here for me to get a good one. But as you can see, I've got some lit up on both sides there. You can see the light is coming through real nice and pretty on both sides. So I mean, it's coming together real nice. And the next video I do is going to be of me. I'll have the body together and mounted on the lower saucer, about like this. I'll put it up there so you can see about it. It's going to mount up about like that, and then I'll get ready to put my base coat on there. I'll putty, get everything puttied and sanded down, and get ready for my base coat. I've still got a little bit of work to do on this, but it's coming on really well. Finally got my LEDs in for my my SMDs for the Reliant, not the Reliant, I'm sorry, the Excelsior. I'll be starting back up on that one here soon. Get that one going, and I'm not really going to do a video, too much of a video build, because a lot of this stuff is kind of redundant on a lot of these models, especially with the lighting and stuff. But I'll go through and show you, bits and pieces of it, how it goes together, and kind of give you updates on that one. I'll do the same thing here on the Into Darkness Revell Enterprise. I've got had to go through on one thing. I'll let you know that this piece back here for the impulse engines, the impulse deck, it's an opaque piece, so if you're gonna light this model, you're gonna have to take a pin vise with a very small needle you get these bits at if you have a Hobby Town or not Harbor Freight Tools, you can get these bits here. About $8, $9 for a pack of 2. Comes with a bigger size and then a second pack for very, very small holes. And so what I had to do is I went in there and drilled out all these holes, and I did that because I was watching Boyd over at TrekWorks, and he did the same thing, and I liked it, so I did the same thing here, and it really does look good. So we'll keep you updated and everything on the Reliant. That should be coming up. You know, I'm gonna be putting the base coat on it here in the next day or two and getting it ready to go. Be putting the saucer on the on the main body of the ship and going from there. So hopefully in the next day or two we'll have this ready to go to where I can get it put up on a stand. I'm gonna have to one thing that, if you're gonna light, I was looking at the kit and the stand that comes with this this kit. Hang on a second, I'll get it for you and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The stand that comes with this kit is a very thin piece. It will work. You can put it on. You know, put the model and mount it on here. But if you're gonna do some lighting on this, you're gonna have to build a little box for this to go on. Because there's just no room. It's set so low to the surface that there's no room for switches. So you're gonna have to mount a little box just long enough, tall enough for the power and the wires and everything to go through the switches. Excuse me. But it will allow you to pass wires down through. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be using. I went to my local hobby store and got this large dome base here, and this rod that comes with it has a hole in the center where you can pass it down through. And so what I did is I took my drill bit and my Dremel tool and drilled out a small hole on the bottom of the base to where you can pass the wires down through. And this is tall enough to where I can mount my 2 switches and then have my power supply come in on the back. And what I'm going to have to do is something that I was watching TrekWorks, and you're going to have to, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to cut a hole in the bottom of the ship, in the bottom of the secondary hull here, and you're going to have to mount a small wooden block down inside there, and you're going to have to countersink it and drill a hole all the way through to where you can pass the wires through. But you're going to have to use epoxy for that to where that'll stay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of wood, cut it in half, and once I get the 2 halves put together, I'll use some 15-minute epoxy and epoxy it down in the center here to where it'll hold, and then once I get it all together, that way I can put it on the base and run my wires through. So gonna take some work to do, and then probably what I'll do once I get the holes cut out for the the switches, and what I'll be using for that one is I went to my local hobby Harbor Freight, and what you can do instead of using a knife or a lot of little drill bits that can cause a lot of damage, I went and got what they call a step bit, and these work real well because you can just look at the size of the back of the switch, and this will allow you to cut perfect holes to where there's no jagged edges or anything of the sort, and this will work. This works real well. I picked this up at Harbor Freight Tools at Sherman for about $6. They also have a pack of three different sizes for about 9 or 10 bucks. So these work out real well, and they keep your holes very neat. So that's what's going on. Still working on the Enterprise refit. Had a few troubles with the photo etch parts for the battle damage, but it's coming along really well. So I've got several projects coming through. So we'll keep you updated, and we will talk at you here in a couple of days for the next video update on the Reliant. And then in the meantime, I will be keeping you updated on the JJ Enterprise 1/500 scale. So we will talk at you later, and as the modelers say in the community, happy modeling, everyone.